Hello and welcome to the Mindset Mentor. I'm Tania Kolar, helping you live your best life. And it's really important to get some activity into your day in order to live your best life. Well, my special guest today is helping people to thrive through physical activity. She was instrumental in creating a basketball court in her community so that her boys, it started off with her two boys needing an outlet. But now that vision has expanded, and her dream is to have courts, in the around various places in the province. So how about we say hello and welcome to Ilona Koziol, who is also an accomplished real estate developer and, of course, busy mom of two boys. Ilona, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so interesting, your story, because I think that oftentimes people, they just don't realize that they have the ability to create change and to make things happen. So I love that, you just started with a vision, a need actually in the moment, which has now spiraled and turned to this really wonderful, ambitious vision. So let's talk about the beginning and how you felt that, there was a need to have a basketball court in your community.
Yeah, so it started off by my younger son Levi has always had athletic ability, and as a new mom of a child that has all these abilities in different sports, I was learning through his exploration of sports myself, and basketball just kept coming up, and at the arcade he would always reach for the basketballs and whatnot. So that started his passion for basketball, and eventually I signed him up to play basketball with a basketball coach. So that's how the passion started. And as you know, when you're a mom, you learn there's a toddler stage, and then there's the adolescent stage, a school age, and that's pretty much how it started. And we recently moved from a condo to a townhouse in the hopes that we would have all this, accessible outdoor play space. Little did I know the construction would last for over a year. And really the need came from he needed an outlet at home to be able to play basketball. So driving him to the court, driving him to practice, driving him to games was one thing. But in the summer months, I wanted him to play. So he got a basketball net for Christmas, and unfortunately, our driveway is not paved as of yet, and we live in a big construction zone. So it's not safe for the kids to play. There's nowhere to put the basketball net. And my brilliant idea was to put the basketball net at the park. They had just built a city park next to our house. I said, what a perfect opportunity. Let all the kids share the net. They can all benefit from it. I called the city to ask for permission to put the net at the park, and they said, absolutely not. You can't. It's a liability. Take it down. And so I started probing for solutions. I said, what else can we do here? I was not prepared to take no for an answer. There's a park, there's space. What else can we do? And they had suggested that I put a request in for equipment, which I didn't know that we could even do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how the ball started rolling. And between that and following up and back and forth, and they had sent out some city staff to see if the project's viable and feasible. So back and forth and back and forth, and eventually we got a stamp of approval. And not only are they building the net, they're building a half a court. So really, really, really excited about it.
That's so awesome. I love that. So you got the green light, the go ahead, and it started with that idea, assessing the need, but also taking action. So anybody listening right now, I think this is a really good reminder to know that you can initiate change. It's about taking action. Speak to your local counselors. Call the city. Make a few phone calls. Make some inquiries. Talk to other parents. Talk to other moms, people in the community, because there is this incredible sense of community, right? When we can have our kids playing, enjoying time, which also builds incredible confidence. I mean, there's a snowball effect, for everybody, right? When we do have these extracurricular activities that are not hours away from your home, right? That are close, that are nearby. So I think it's important to know that we all have the ability to affect change. And Ilona, you're a great example of that. And I'm sure that your son is very grateful, in being able to enjoy something that he loves, and not also having to maybe get up earlier or leave somewhere sooner to get to where he needs to be, right? So let's talk a little bit about your experience when you got the green light and they said from the city, yes, we're going to put this in, and it's actually going to be even better than you thought because we're going to build a half a court. So what was your reaction to that, and your family's reaction?
I was thrilled. I could not wait to tell Levi and Mason, my kids. And then I feel like it starts, like you said, it starts with a need. It started with that need, and then it turned into this momentum starts building in the direction of the possibility. And that's really how I live my life, in the direction of possibility. I choose my thoughts and where my energy goes. And now I'm using this to spearhead more of that. So it really just opened up possibility and opened up more opportunities, because I'm like, if I can start here in my neighborhood, in my backyard, so to speak, how can I make this change and this impact on more communities and for more children and adults? I know adults that play basketball. My business partner, every Saturday, they rent a court, so it's not just for the kids. And so now this is where the momentum is building and building and snowballing into something so much more. And it doesn't end at the success of getting the court here. It's really, how do you create that all over, and how do you create that joy and happiness? And like you said, basketball and any sport is not just about the sport. There's community building and discipline that they learn. And I'm learning this as a mom of now a little athlete, of how beneficial sports are to children in general, and how many skills they learn. And it just becomes a lifestyle, and an active lifestyle. And really, when they gain that passion, when they do, like you said, have it so close to home, let me just run outside and play basketball while I'm cooking. I don't have that opportunity when I have to drive him to the court and drive him to games. So it becomes a little disruptive, and we're all busy. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm a single mom. There's no trading and sharing responsibilities. It all falls on me. So having that be so convenient really, really helps, not just the kids, but the parents too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the physical aspect, there's the mental aspect, and the emotional aspect of being engaged. Whether that's just engaging with your community, or actively participating in sports. It all has a parallel, and can really up the level of our lives when we are in a state where we are enjoying our surroundings and our environment, and engaging with others. So interesting, because I know that through the pandemic, where there was, not a lot of extracurricular activities because nothing was open, and at one point we couldn't go, even to the park, and use the equipment there or what have you, right? So, and that really had a detrimental effect, on a lot of the kids, and certainly adults as well, right? I mean, everybody was impacted in some form or another. But I find that, even listening to some of my friends, with their children, some of the kids really struggled, because they weren't able to have that communication that they're used to, particularly if they were part of a team. A team environment is so welcoming, and it's something that I think we all need, and we've learned that through the pandemic. And I remember that one of my friends was talking, about her son during that time, and how he was really struggling to the point where, he was thinking of harming himself. And, it's a scary thought. It's a scary place to be and for anyone to feel like that. So I love that you have now taken the action and taken the steps to create an environment where people can come together, and to maybe even take away some of their, stress by physical movement, right? That's a great outlet. But just also again to share that community sharing, building strength, fostering hope, I think is incredible, because I think the problem really lies when we are hopeless, and that hopelessness creates to so many other downward spirals. So this is wonderful that you're doing this, because again, it's not just the one act. It's just like it just keeps on snowballing and it keeps on growing. So I wish you all the success in creating the momentum and the vision that you now are looking forward to, starting with one idea, right, and solving that need, but growing into and morphing into so much more. So your kids right now are at an age where, they're so, impressionable, right? And so I think that having these vehicles that and these outlets really helps to strengthen who they are as people, and to learn from others, and to also look at, role models. And a lot of kids, of course, look up to professional sports athletes, right? They're like superheroes. And isn't it amazing that you can provide kids with an opportunity to, become one of those superheroes down the road?
Definitely. And like you said, the importance of having role models, the importance of, now I see how important having a coach. Levi has, his basketball coach, Coach Nav, and I saw a tremendous change in his behavior, in how he shows up. They're,
Hmm.
they're not just learning the actual skills of the sport, they're learning discipline, they're learning sportsmanship, they're learning how to be on a team, how to support one another, how to say kind words to each other, how to encourage and empower each other. So all of those things are so important in just building character of these children, and let them build community. And I see them showing up for each other on the court, off the court. Hey, buddy, nice haircut. Hey, this, so there's so much
Yay.
more than just the skill of playing basketball. And again, I see, adults playing basketball. I know, people, they do business on the basketball court. Like, it's just anyone can be involved. I'm not very good, mind you, but I'm starting now to play because I want to play with my son. I can be active. It's a lot harder than it looks. Cardio is not my favorite thing. So I'm running around sweating with him, but he loves the fact that I'm showing up for him and with him, right? And he's teaching me his skills. So there are so many benefits in all areas, all relationships, parent child relationships, peer-to-peer friendships, so many benefits. And again, I'm learning this as I'm experiencing it, and that's why now I have such a passion for being able to provide that opportunity for everybody.
I love that. So again, that passion is so instrumental in helping to make the seemingly impossible become possible. And so that's a really great reminder to everyone listening right now that you can accomplish your goals, you can achieve that dream. Just hold on to the vision, and you can do it. You can make the impossible possible. Stay with us. We're going to take a short break here on the Mindset Mentor, and we're going to continue the conversation with my special guest, Ilona Koziol, who is a mom of two boys. She has spearheaded and was instrumental in having the city create a basketball court so that her kids and the community had a place to play. And so important. And now she is looking at expanding, and her vision is to have more basketball courts in various places across the province. So stay tuned, and we'll chat more with Ilona when we come back. Welcome back to the Mindset Mentor. I'm Tania Kolar, helping you live your best life. I always talk about how your mindset is like a muscle that needs to be strengthened and conditioned. And this is your mindset workout. And speaking of a workout, my special guest today, Ilona Koziol, is a mom of two. She's a successful real estate developer who has spearheaded a project of creating a basketball court in her community. And her vision is to expand that around the province so that, people have an outlet to get their workout. It's so important. So not only from, the mental aspect, right, of working on our mindset, we have to work on our bodies. And that is how we can truly cultivate a life we love. Ilona, thank you for being here today. And we're going to continue the conversation. And I want to talk a little bit about the community because you now have effectively gotten community involvement. So it started off again as a need, for your boys to have an outlet, to play their, favorite game, or one of your sons anyways loved basketball. I'm not sure if they both play. But so, and that's now morphed into, a bigger purpose. So how has the community come together? We'd love to hear some examples.
Yeah. So, everyone that's heard this, I've shared the story just with my friends and people in the community, and they're all like right away, they're like, how can I help? How can I be involved? This is so important. I have kids. I would love this. And obviously I told the basketball coach, Levi's basketball coach, and right away he was like, how do I help? Let me help. How can I get involved? So he's offered a month of free skills training at the court once it opens, again, to get everybody involved, get the community involved. So generous, heart of gold. And really, again, he knows more than anyone as a retired basketball player how important it is and how important it was for him to play basketball growing up. So that's amazing. Really excited about that. And having different events. I want to start hosting different events, community events. I'm thinking about flyering, the neighborhood and getting the kids out, because how often do we just, it's so busy, life is so busy now, and especially like you said, after COVID, there's not a lot of interaction. They were taking basketball nets down, in fact, during COVID, so that the kids couldn't
Mhm.
play. But often we live in a community and we don't even know our neighbors, right? So it's the culture has changed since. And I always say, back in the day, they used to say it takes a village. Where's the village? Let's create that village. It's our responsibility to, like you're saying, take action in the direction of the things that you want in your life. What kind of lifestyle do you want? Just because maybe the community doesn't exist yet, it's new here. I really want to be able to pull that out. And I'm, even on the real estate development side, that's something I'm really passionate about, is when I'm building a community, I really want it to feel like everyone's there together. Everyone's participating. You feel safe, when the kids go outside and play. So using the basketball court as an anchor to be able to facilitate things like a family barbecue, or, let's schedule a family basketball a game, on top of the generosity of Coach Nav and coming in to do the skills training. So I think that in, building the momentum in that direction too, and being able to know that outside, it's summertime, and anytime you go outside, someone's there playing, and, we're friends, and being able to have the kids play together and build those friendships while they're living here. Because often there's a different culture now where we move often, right? It's not so much as, when we were growing up, I personally moved a lot myself, but I know people that have lived in the same community for 20, 30 years. It's not as common anymore. So
Mhm.
how do you have an inviting community? And one of the things is having these regular events. And really, it comes down to the people that live here, because nobody else is going to do that. And so it really comes down to taking the initiative to build the community and have those strong relationships with the parents and the children.
Yeah, I love that. You're talking about, the barbecues and community coming together. And I can think about, even the street that I live on, sometimes there are street parties. And what a great way to meet the neighbors and to bond. And, I actually met somebody at one of our street parties, and I had, an issue one day and I needed some help. And I was able to knock on the neighbor's door and say, can I borrow you for a few minutes? Right. Which was a great experience. Right. And had I not have attended the street party, I would have been like, oh, who do I call? Right. Or who can I ask? So I think there's just a really nice, connection that can be had, whether that's, the kids, the parents collectively, everybody together. Or sometimes you'll just meet that person who can become a lifelong friend and you had no idea. But it's about, being open to try. I would encourage people who are maybe a little bit on the shyer side, to get out there. Community is so invaluable to our mental health, so it's so important to reach out, to get connected in some way. And, don't be shy to do that. I know I remember taking my niece, and this was many years ago. The youngest niece, she's like now, she's 19 now, but maybe she was around 10, and we were at the beach, and she did not want to play with any of the other kids, right? And I was like, oh, like, okay, well, go and ask, her to build a sandcastle with you, like, and she was so like, shy and timid and didn't want to do it. But when she started to, see that, oh, actually, this is fun and it's enjoyable, she got past that initial fear of, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this, right? I think that's natural. That can be very natural for a lot of kids as well, to feel uncomfortable initially. But in order to live our best lives, we have to get out of our comfort zones. We need to push past that fear. And, parents can certainly guide their children in that direction. And then it just becomes easy. It becomes natural. And then it's interesting because then you'll see that the kids will start to be that, and help other kids to connect, right? And say, hey, come and play with me, right? Because I think we all know what it feels like to have a little bit of a fear in some capacity. So it's nice to see people evolve and communities come to life and people to be expressive. And, one thing leads to another, as in your case, again, you had, a need that was fulfilled. And then it led into this incredible experience of community. And then you never know what's going to come from all of those experiences and the impact that that has. So I want to acknowledge you for, the work that you did and for taking that action and being that role model. And now you have other people coming to you and saying, hey, how can we help? So, I encourage people, get active in your community, reach out, because you never know who's going to need your help. And oftentimes, let's say whatever we're good at, we just think that everybody is good at that, right? So, but I think if you have the conversations, it's like, how can I help you? Here's what I can do. How does that help you? Right. And I think it's kind of just so important to have those conversations started.
Yeah, and I think you made a really good point there that I want to touch on. And it's about coming out of your shell, and the example that you gave with your niece. I think really as a parent, it's our job to lead by example. There's nothing I can expect from my children that I don't do myself. And
Mm-hmm.
getting active in my community is leading by example and showing that my kids are very outgoing. In fact, sometimes I'm like, they get because they get it from me. That's my personality. I'm
Mm.
very open and friendly and I want to engage people. And I see that coming through, those qualities and those traits in them. And one of the things that I love about this particular project, and I do other, development projects, but I'm so passionate. I'm like, yes, have the court, right? Is because I want to show them. And Levi asked me, he's like, is this court going to be here forever? I'm like, yeah, it's going to be here forever. He's like, how many kids are going to be able to play here? I'm like, exactly. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to encourage that through my participation, through me leading as an example to them, saying, look, you can do this. Or, yeah, it's not scary to talk to somebody. Mommy does it all the time. Look, let's go talk to the neighbors, right? I can't expect them to go make friends if I'm sitting at home and, pointing at them. Go make some friends, right? Unless I'm actively involved as well. So once the parents can come out, and that's exactly why I want to do the events, is get the parents to come out first and say, look, mommy and daddy are making new friends with the neighbors. Oh, by the way, the neighbors have kids too. You guys can play, So I love that, leading by example. And like you mentioned earlier, having a role model, having multiple role models in the community is key for their development and building character.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, sort of connecting people. So what is your vision going forward and having more people on board?
Yeah, so I would love to connect with people that have influence in some way. And it's funny, I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that, once we put that energy out, it comes back. And I'm already getting phone calls. Hey, I know this basketball player, or hey, I know the general manager of so and so. But really, I think it comes down to the city
Hmm.
and making those connections. And I'm reaching out to the local counselors, and so really people that have a passion for children and their development and sports is really, those are the people that I want to connect with. How can we pull together, like you said, bring the skills that we each have, bring the connections, the expertise, the experience we all have, and rally together to make this something that's, massive and incredible, and it can make such a massive difference for kids and families alike.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be vocal about what it is that you want, because then it makes it easier for people to help you. I'm reminded of a story that I heard, just a few weeks ago, and it was a woman who was trying to transport some bottles. I believe it was to the Ukraine, and she just needed a ride, right? She's like, "How do I get all of these bottles to this location?" So she put some asks out there. She, made some calls, and she was able to transport her bottles, via plane to the Ukraine, which would have cost about $300,000 if she were to hire a plane. And she was able to get someone to just give her a ride, right?
Wow.
And so, and she had asked them, well, why did you say yes? Because she was curious. And the person said, because you asked for what I can provide. Right. I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? When you ask people and you let them know what you need and they're able to give you that, it's easy for them. For him, it was not a big deal at all to let her, have her catch a ride, literally hitch a ride. Right. But what we believe sometimes in our mind, with our mindset, is that it's not possible. I can't do it. Who's going to do that? It's $300,000. So we come up with these scenarios in our mind before we've actually taken action. But when we take action, it's amazing to see the synchronicities in life. You talked and you spoke about the law of attraction, right? So you're attracting, the right people and circumstances into your life when you are open to the possibility, right? So I always stress to people, please be open to the possibilities that are available to you, because it's our mindset and our limiting beliefs, our perceptions, that keep us stuck, and they keep us from, even asking the questions because we fear the answer. But sometimes it's that fear that can propel you to heights that are unimaginable. So I think that's an incredible story.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we block our own blessings, like you said, with our own beliefs. If you don't believe in yourself or the fact that those people exist that can give you a ride, and that's exactly how the basketball court came about. I said, I know there's a solution here. I know that there's somehow I'm going to create a possibility. What if? Ask yourself that question. What if this was possible? What would that look like? What would who would have to be involved? What kind of action would I have to take? And a lot of the times we're inspired by, our own thoughts, or our own thoughts that manifest in our minds, and then we tell people that have, limiting beliefs themselves, and then they squash your dream. They
Hmm.
squash your dream, and you're like, oh, you're right, no, that person's right, it's not possible, oh no, so really believing in yourself that you can make a difference, because we all have it in ourselves to make that difference. If you believe in possibility, if you believe in yourself, if you're, able and willing to challenge your own beliefs too. So yeah, I love that story.
Oh, that's so good too. And, it's so true because there are people in life that we will meet who will, squash our dreams. And what I've come to, realize, and what I teach my clients, is that other people, they don't have to be on board with your dreams, right? Because your dreams are yours. So if somebody doesn't, resonate with that, it's okay. And oftentimes we take it personally, right? But it's like, no, it's okay. If they just don't get it, they don't get it, and it's they don't have to, because it's your dream. So don't let anybody else dim that beautiful radiant light that you have within you. We all have that, and sometimes life happens, and then we start to take on other people's limitations. When they say, you can't do that, when somebody says that to you, the next time, I just want you to question that a little bit in your mind and say, like, and have compassion for that person, because really what they're saying is that they couldn't do it. Not that you can't do it. They can't do it in their mind, in their belief system, right? So I think that's kind of a nice way to just say, okay, well, I'm going to continue and I'm going to follow my passion and my dream, regardless of what anybody else thinks about them. So dream big, dream high. The possibilities are endless for you. So we're going to take a break here on the Mindset Mentor. I'm Tania Kolar. My special guest today is Ilona Koziol, and she is a real estate developer. She's also a busy mom of two who has spearheaded creating basketball courts in her community, and now her vision is to expand that across the province so that people can get the benefit of interacting with community, of course, having the physical aspect of playing basketball as well. So stay tuned and we'll be back here on the Mindset Mentor. Welcome back to the Mindset Mentor. I'm Tania Kolar, helping you live your best life. Well, you are getting a mindset workout here today with my special guest, Ilona Koziol. She is helping us to get active in the community. She's helping us to see that there is a need for getting the community together, for people to take action. And let's continue along the mindset course, Ilona. So let's talk about for you, what was your mindset in starting out, and has your mindset changed or strengthened, through the course of you spearheading your project?
You know, I got separated back in 2018, and that's really when I started my mindset journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a journey. It is really a journey of awareness, of
Self-discovery.
self-discovery, and and I call it, I kept putting more tools in my toolbox, more tools, the books, the mentors, the practices, the meditations, the gratitude journals, all those things really, I immersed myself in personal development, and
Mm-hmm.
the returns have been incredible on that time that I've spent. So this is just a small manifestation of all the things that I've been working on, especially internally within myself. Because 5 years ago, I would have never believed in myself. I would have never thought in the direction of possibility. I would have never thought somebody, little old me, can do anything, no confidence. So that work, that foundational work I've been working on for the last 5-6 years makes these things seem easy now, right? And I do really believe now, one of my beliefs is everything always works out for me. Everything's always working in my favor. I know that anything I do is going to bless more than just me and my family. So I really live with those intentions through practice. And one of the things I always share is, when people are having a hard time and people are, frustrated or angry, I'm like, you are the only person responsible for the way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts create how you feel. And if you can learn how to control your thoughts, and first of all, gain awareness that you have thoughts, you are not your thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and start, educating yourself and realizing that the things that you think about really make you feel the way you feel. So for me, I want to feel good. I want to feel joy. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel like there's endless abundance in the world. So there's not, being happy for somebody else because they're doing well. And when they're doing well, I know I'm going to do well. So all of that for the last 5-6 years has compounded, and I'm still on the journey, and I will forever be a student, and I will forever be gaining awareness. But those are the real core foundational things that really help me have the success that I have today as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a developer, as a advocate for basketball courts. So it really, really starts from within, and that's the journey that I implore people to go on, because everything's inside of us. People often look for answers outside and ask for opinions. And like we mentioned, that person said I can't do it, so I must not be able to do it. You have an inspired thought that comes to you and you get really excited about that idea, explore that idea. first by yourself, right? And then share it. Once I didn't share the basketball court with anybody until I gained some momentum in that direction. And I started thinking about possibilities. What would it look like if there was a basketball court by the house? What would it look? And then coming from that energy, I started sharing. And then I led the direction of the conversation. Hey, wouldn't it? Hey, whoever it is, Amy, wouldn't it be awesome if? And now you're controlling the direction of the conversation versus, do you think I could do this? Nah, I don't think
Mhm.
so. They don't ever really, no, okay, so really being able to have that conversation with yourself first, have the beliefs that enable you to think in that direction, and then be able to share from that perspective.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely agree with you. And I think it's really important to ask yourself empowering questions, right? Because your questions can really lead again to, the results that you're going to ensue. So instead of saying, why can't this happen? Or, this is not possible for me. How about asking the question, like, how can I achieve this? And you fill in the blanks of whatever this is for you, right? Because then your mind is going to start to go to work to how to answer that question. But keep in mind that if we've asked a bad question or a disempowering question, we're going to get a different response, right? So it's really important to listen to our language, our key patterning in terms of our language patterning. Again, dictates the quality of our lives. So check in with your thoughts periodically. Ask empowering questions. Believe in yourself. Know that you can achieve what seems impossible. You can do it. And yes, as you said, Ilona, sometimes we look for the external things that are outside of us. We have all the answers that we need within. We already have the answers, but we don't have the belief in ourselves that's strong enough for us to, pay attention to those answers, to delve into that. But when we are willing, we can tap into that energy and to that power and, move forward in a way that is naturally empowering because we start to get rid of the resistance and the blocks when we can really start to change our mindset. And, listen, it does take work. As I mentioned, it is a workout. And this here, the Mindset Mentor is your mindset workout, but it's a workout that has so many benefits. I mean, it's just tenfold. Like they keep on coming, they keep on coming. And when you start to put in the work, at some point it just becomes organic, it becomes innate, and life becomes much easier. We hear the expression a lot, to work smarter and not harder. Right. And, I was of the belief that, oh yeah, if you work hard, life's amazing, right? It's like you're putting in the grind and you're hustling and you're doing the work and good things should just have to happen because you're doing the work. But I have realized that, yeah, it is actually about working smarter, and not harder, because sometimes we actually have to take a step back and release and let go, and just allow things to unfold. And, sometimes we get really focused on things have to happen this way. Let's say, for example, Ilona, when you were creating, the whole basketball court and you had asked the city, well, can I put up a net? And they said no. Now, you could have been fixed in that belief that this has to happen. I have to set up a net in this park. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to be disastrous. And when we hold on to that belief, that's where we start to put the resistance. But when you step back, you have room to allow something else to come in, something else that is greater, something else that is for you. You also had said something earlier about things happening, to me, right? So I think it's really important to know, and because you said they were all good things, right? You have that belief, which is awesome, right? But I think it's really key too, is that to realize that yes, things are happening for you and not to you when they don't necessarily go in the direction that you were hoping, right?
Yes, exactly. And when things don't work out, or at least that we think they don't work out, they're still working out.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helps build a different kind of perspective, because you can get down on yourself. Oh, I didn't get that job, or I didn't get that, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
this didn't happen. This didn't work out for me. But really, it's just a course correction in my
Mm-hmm.
eyes. Like, I wasn't meant to have that. Something better's coming, right? So instead of saying, being down on yourself, oh, I didn't do a good job, or, this, it didn't work out. This worked out. Sometimes I do real estate development deals and, I put in an offer and this and that, and we go through the whole thing and the whole deal dies and it didn't go through. My reaction is not ever to be upset. I'm like, that wasn't meant for me. That deal was not
Mhm.
my deal, and that's okay. I'm being blessed right now. The universe is protecting me because maybe there's something wrong with the site. Maybe it's contaminated. Maybe there are things, or that I couldn't have known myself right now from where I stand. So it didn't work out for me for a reason. So the things that don't work out for you are still working out for you. So it's all about perspective. It's all about your beliefs. It's all about how you choose to feel every day. However you're feeling, that is your choice. So I'm really, really glad that I was able to hone in on that and learn that skill. I wish I had learned it when I was my kid's age, but at least, I'm halfway there. So yeah, I think perspective is everything and beliefs are everything. So if you can really think about from your perspective, why is this working out for me? What it, and like we mentioned, in the direction of possibility, there's really nothing you can be upset about in life.
Yes, and you are exactly where you need to be in life, right? And there's a quote that I love by Steve Jobs, and he says that you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. And it's interesting because you go, oh, well, it's amazing how this one thing led to the next thing, and to the next, and to the next. And if I had that job, it led to this, or if I didn't get that job, it led to this. So it's really interesting to see where life takes you, right? But we want to be a willing participant and sometimes just step out of our own way in order to allow the good to come in, and without being too fixated on what we think should happen, right? And then get stuck there. Because remember that life is always in constant motion. We're always moving, and we're not meant to stay, in one space forever. And so it's always a cycle, and it's going to continue to evolve. So we want to flow with the natural algorithm of life and step out of our own way so we can allow that goodness to come in. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. So I want to say thank you, Ilona, for joining us. And I wish you lots of success on your mission to create basketball courts around the province. And is there any final words that you would like to share with everyone listening?
Just to really be active in participating and know that you can be, that one person that makes a change, or at least starts the change. So it starts with you. Go out there, be active in your community, serve when you can. And yeah, that's it.
I love it. Some great advice, and never underestimate, the power that you hold and the impact that you have on others. Sometimes I think we go through life, we don't realize, that one sentence that you said to somebody, that empowering words of encouragement could change someone's life. So never underestimate you. Stay with us. We've got more coming up here on Sauga 960, and make sure you tune in to the next Mindset Mentor on Thursdays at 3 p.m.